Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. It's weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you had a good weekend and a good Monday. Our weather certainly wasn't that good today, and we've got a lot to talk about with regards to what happened last night with the rain, and what will happen with the snow coming up over the next 12 to 24 hours. Wanted to do just a real quick review, though, of some radar imagery from last night. If you watched my Facebook live feed last evening at around 6:30, I was on until about 7:15. We had tornado warnings off to our west. Not exactly something that was all that anticipated, but we had a lot of little kinks in the wind field. And what I mean by kinks is kind of this stuff. Let me grab my drawing tool here. Kind of this right here. Little S-curves in the wind field, meaning there was some rotation detected in the line. And the Weather Service went out and did a damage survey today just south of Akron, and east of Barberton, kind of near Portage Lakes, and they found EF1 damage. This was only on the ground for a brief period of time, but it did damage a few businesses and caused a couple of cars to flip over. And this was the imagery last night at 6:13. The tornado officially, they had it at 6:16, I believe, in the report this afternoon. But you can see the rotation being shown here, and a pretty good little couplet of greens and reds. The greens, winds blowing towards the Cleveland radar, the reds winds blowing away from the Cleveland radar. This was, of course, rain-wrapped. And, I was saying on the live feed last night, this is how most of our tornadoes go in our part of the country. We don't live in Kansas. We don't see big, beautiful hook echoes that make it really obvious there's a strong tornado. That makes detecting tornadoes a little more difficult here. Thankfully, we typically don't see the intensity of tornadoes that they oftentimes see out in the plain states. It's pretty rare here to get an EF4 or EF5. It, of course, has happened, but it's very, very rare. Most of our tornadoes are these little spin-ups that are a little hard to detect and typically don't stay on the ground for very long. All right, of course, as that pushed east, we had no more tornadic activity last night. What we did have, a whole lot of rain. This is the Doppler radar estimates here. I'm just going to query a few spots here. A lot of places shown to pick up about 2 inches. Some actual rain gauge numbers were closer to 2.5 inches in some places from our late weekend rain. Notice, though, as you got over into Mercer and Lawrence counties, the amounts were quite a bit lower. The wall of rain really set up over our Ohio counties and did not make as much progress into western Pennsylvania, so amounts were lower over there. All right, we still have active flood warnings out this evening for Eagle Creek, southwestern Trumbull County, and then from Leavittsburg on south into Youngstown, the Mahoning River has a flood warning all along it. Let's show you some of the latest numbers here. This is Eagle Creek Phalanx Station. Most recent observation at 12.99 feet, probably cresting right now, and then will slowly recede over the next 24 hours or so. This is a spot that oftentimes floods when we have heavy rain, and no surprise, a flood warning issued for that. Mahoning River at Leavittsburg has been flirting with major flood stage. Again, probably near cresting right now. It might rise just a little bit more this evening. Most recent observation, 14.88 feet. Major flood stage begins at 15 feet. When the river gets up to 14.5 feet, some common results of that, water spreading to extreme southern Leavittsburg, several roads may be impassable. Water enters Leavitt Road, Meadowbrook Drive at 14.5 feet. So we're seeing some problems up there, no doubt, in southwestern Trumbull County near the Mahoning River. Now, when you go over towards Warren, this is not the forecast, but the last 24 hours of observations. The most recent observation has it almost to moderate flood stage, almost at 11 feet, very close to 11 feet. It will start to recede as we head through the night. And then down in Youngstown, Mahoning River shown to be in minor flood stage at about 14 feet, its highest level since January of last year. And this, much like the Mahoning River farther north, will start to recede as we go through the night. All right, we're done with heavy rain, but we've got some snow to talk about tonight. This isn't going to be much, but we have some snow showers flying out there this evening, especially off to our south and west. What we have going on is, of course, colder air pushing in, but as we go through the night into tomorrow, this upper level low that you can kind of pick out the spin up here, this is going to dumbbell south and east and enhance the snow shower activity across our region tonight and heading into parts of tomorrow. And, it's getting late in the year for this, but it's not unheard of, certainly. In fact, we have measurable snowfall after tax day about 1 out of every 3 years, about 34% of our years dating back to the 1930s. we've seen measurable snowfall on or after April the 15th. As far as accumulations and impacts go, I'm expecting minimal impacts from this. But the grass can get coated occasionally tomorrow. We might even see upwards of a half an inch to even an inch, especially northern Mercer, northern Trumbull. The rest of us, occasionally a little coating on the grass, on windshields, but the roads will be fine. It's snowing during the day in mid-April, unless it is really snowing hard. It's going to have a hard time sticking on anything that's paved, and I think that'll be the case tomorrow. A better day coming up on Wednesday as a warm front pushes in. We'll sneak back into the 50s, still below average, but better. And then some showers late Wednesday. And behind that, we're not done seeing snow yet. This is Thursday. I think there's going to be flurries flying on Thursday. It's going to be more like February once again. So again, the modeling here for the next 24 hours or so, showing generally amounts an inch or less. This is for the region around the airport. So Vienna and Howland and Warren and Niles and Girard and down to Youngstown, kind of the middle of our viewing area. I could see where some places might try to get an inch or so up towards maybe Kinsman, Greenville, kind of the northern reaches of our television viewing area. So, and this accumulation, again, would be mostly on the non-paved surfaces. Really not too concerned about road impacts. Again, wintry tomorrow. I mean, these are the wind chills, no better than the 20s. Don't put your winter jacket away just yet. And look at the numbers. I mean, after that brief warm-up Wednesday, Thursday, 42. Friday, 47. And as we go into the weekend, we're going to see increasing amounts of sunshine Friday and over the weekend, but we're still below average. By the end of the weekend, our averages are actually in the lower 60s. So we're going to still be 4 degrees below average on Sunday. Finally, an above average day, maybe coming up a week from today. By the way, this 36 tomorrow, the record low maximum, in other words, the coldest high temperature for tomorrow's date is 35. So we have a chance of being very close to the coldest high temperature on record for tomorrow's date. So it is going to be a cold one. Let's take a sneak peek real quick at the longer range. I'm going to show you the climate forecast system modeling here. Not painting a real optimistic picture over the next couple of weeks. You see the blues, you see the greens. It advertises a pretty darn chilly pattern all the way into early May. Not real optimistic about the rest of April, I'll tell you. We'll spike up to 64 early next week, and I can't even rule out a day like we had last Friday where it's 80. But those are just little oasis days. The overall pattern remains very, very chilly for this time of the year. Thanks for checking out the Monday evening weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here tomorrow evening, and I'll have a full update tonight on the river levels and everything else you need to know on 21 News at 11 o'clock.